It's a regular meeting, June 21st, 2023. Can we have a roll call, please?
President Zemke.
Present.
Commissioner Mateusz.
Present.
Commissioner Chan-Corrali.
Present.
Commissioner Slater-Carter. Commissioner Dunlap.
Okay. Public comment. This is an opportunity for members of the public to address the commission on any subject that is not on the agenda. And you will have 2 minutes to do that. Do we have any hands raised?
No hands raised.
No hand raised. Okay, and no, we'll move along then to commissioner comments. Commissioner Dummer, would you like to make a comment?
Thank you. I do have a little comment. I started thinking more and more as we're getting into the area of dredging and putting material on Surfers Beach and so forth, and started thinking more and more about kind of the big picture, longer term. And I like to discuss with the board the possibility of putting out an RFP, request for proposals, to do a dredge material management plan for both harbors. It's something that, you know, all the federal harbors and private harbors have, and it helps guide, you know, the material you're going to dredge, where you're going to put it, the permitting process, the types of equipment you can use or not use. And I think it's something that we can use here for the harbor, you know, to kind of give us some guidance on what we're going to do. That could be the place where we would then have an analysis of whether we would buy our own dredge to be used here. That can be shared with Oyster Point. If you're only dredging every 5 years, the economics may say, bring in a dredger to do it every 5 years, it may be cheaper that way, or we lease it for a few years. So that kind of report and analysis would be done in a dredge material management plan. So I would think that the first step would be, you know, working with the staff to put out an RFP and see what we get from folks. So.
Are you? Yes.
Can I look? I can do it from, I wanted to add on to what George was saying.
Okay. Are you through?
Yeah.
Commissioner Chan-Corrali.
So years ago, I wanted to have a reserve, because for special districts, reserves are really important because we collect money in our main way from property taxes. So I wanted to actually have a reserve kind of for dredging purposes. But I think Jim had suggested a different way of looking at this, which is more of a master dredge plan or reserve thing. So maybe this will dovetail into this, but do you have any ideas as to which firms would look into this? And this is not on the agenda, so I'm just not. I don't
Right. No, I'm concerned that is it probably appropriate to add this to it as an agenda discussion?
Agree. Okay.
Rather than discuss.
There are firms, but I'm not going to mention any names.
I'm just saying that was my idea before.
There are several that could do that. And when you do the RFP, you'll let all of them submit, you know.
Okay.
But I'm going to be quiet.
Hold that thought.
That's my comment. I have no other
Future
No names
agenda
of
item.
firms.
Okay. Are you through agenda?
Yeah, I think so.
Commissioner Slater-Carter, would you have to make a comment?
I think it's a good idea. I'm wondering if, given that we are in the coastal zone here, and I don't know what the requirements are for the Bay Quality Control District, maybe we would like to, at least for here, wrap it into a a public works plan for the district that we get directly from Coastal Commission. It's something that would be like a master plan. So it would cover not only the dredging, but any building renovations, launch ramp, all of that stuff into a combined master plan, public works plan, so that it's all handled at once in a cohesive, planned manner that and I think one of the things that will strengthen this district tremendously for the public perception and for agencies that we work with would be to have a whole plan. So we can go, look, we're going to be doing this, and then we're going to be doing this over here so people can launch more easily. And while we're doing that, we're going to be doing the dredging and fixing up the beaches. And so it's a comprehensive look. MWSD, which I sit on, did a public works plan in 2000, and I think it was 6 or 8. And we have not had to get permits either from the county or coastal since then. So it has saved us in the long run a lot of money, and the public knows exactly where we're going and what we're doing. All they have to do is look at it. And it talks about for MWSD, it was about the water. So it talks about our water supplies, our piping, our wells, our systems, all of that stuff.
Okay, it sounds like this is going to be a good topic for an agenda in the future.
Maybe we should put it on.
Yeah, right.
As long as we don't talk back and forth.
Yes, this is an opportunity for comment by the commissioners, limited as much as possible, and I agree, put it on the future agenda.
Commissioner Mateusz.
I attended the opening of Supervisor Ray Mueller's office here on the coast. It was well attended. A lot of people. There was people as high up as Anna Eshoo attended. The new sheriff attended. There was a lot of different people there. It was a good event. Additionally, I've been reaching out to people from NOAA. I've been on several sport fish committees, and I'm talking to people to try and find funding opportunities. Right now, I'm in the process of talking to people about habitat restoration and trying to find additional money, for instance, living shoreline, the eelgrass shoreline, different projects. I've had 3 meetings so far. And when it comes to the permission, we'll see it on a future board agenda.
Okay. Very good. And the only comment I would have, I just wanted to note that Commissioner Slater Carter and I and Jim did have a visit from David Canepa. That's drawing a blank on that. Dave Canepa was here, had, I think, a good discussion, gave him a very thorough review of our district and what we hope to accomplish. So on that, we can move ahead to item number D, activity reports. What I'd like to do here is allow the general manager, operations and administration and finance to go through their reports, and then I'll open up the comments. So Jim.
Nothing further to report. What's documented in my filed report, but I will emphasize that the meeting with Supervisor Canepa was extremely positive, and I believe he is looking for ways that he can assist the district with respect to one-time purchases for like a rescue boat or jet skis. Still working that out, but I think it'll have positive results.
Good. John, operations, anything to add here?
Everything's going very well at both harbors, Oyster Point and Pillar Point Harbor. Pillar Point Harbor, we're always hovering above 90% occupancy, 93% at present. And things been a little slower since salmon season's been shut down this year. We, under the leadership of Harbor Master Tibby and Assistant Harbor Master Dante Madrigal and Training Officer Kerry Smith, we were able to organize and segue on an existing permit in order for us to clear all of the sand from the launch ramp that had shoaled in from the Deer Creek outfall due to the historic winter storms. That was quite an effort, and under the general manager's guidance, we were able to get that done. At our Oyster Point Marina, the staff have been doing an excellent job spreading the word, and with their excellent customer service, increasing the occupancy there to 88%, which is the highest in decades.
That's great.
They've just been doing an excellent job under James Smith, the harbor master, and assistant harbor master Jake Walding. The whole team, I've heard comments on what excellent customer service that they're providing. more recent turnaround. Training Officer Kerry Smith deserves some recognition. He and Deputy Harbor Master Connor Kickbread hosted multiple safety trainings for local community elementary and kindergarten classes, which is
It's not on the
excellent
agenda.
PR for
Okay, we can back up for that.
Okay.
potentially saves countless lives. You know, as those children learn about rip tides, rip currents, and water safety, they also spread to their families. You know, some of which understand English as a first language, but the children do, of course, and can spread safety information to their entire network of families. So it's great work. I have nothing further.
Administration and finance.
Thing of note is that we were successful at third point, which is Office 365. All the files are now backed up and saved and mobile. Also decommissioned the ability PMP server, which is our old collection system. And that has made our district a lot more secure for, you know, the cybersecurity. We are starting the upgrade of our new ERP system to be in the cloud right now. They have a cloud component, and still a little piece of it is off. Really the things that have happened.
Thank you. At this time, I would open it to public comment. Are there any hands raised in regards to the activities reports?
Yes, John.
John, welcome.
Hello, team. Unfortunately, I have a job during the day, so I think I missed my 15 minutes or my chance at public comment. Wow. At any rate, you should move these meetings to the evening when most of us can participate, because I've got a job to do and most of us do during the day. So please ask yourselves, for whose benefit is this meeting being held at 2 p.m.? Thank you.
Okay. John, and since that was a general comment, I think we can back up just for a second. We had a person, Cynthia, that wanted to make a general comment that's not on the agenda. We'll take that at this time.
My name is Cynthia Knowles from San Mateo County Environmental Health Services Pollution Prevention Team. And I wanted to make you all aware of, and I'm reaching all up and down the coast, about Half Moon Bay will host a household hazardous waste collection event organized by the Household Hazardous Waste Program of San Mateo County. And so I'm reaching out to voters and coastsiders all the way to Pescadero. July 29th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. we'll have a household hazardous waste collection event hosted by Half Moon Bay in the high school parking lot. And I had sent an email last night to the board, the Harbor District Board, and just advising and asking for any kind of support in getting the word out. I'll be going to the Mid-Coast Community Council, the high schools, and anywhere else I can get the word out, and the marina, of course. Because at these events, we can collect non-business waste, but boater waste as well. You know, the marinas have the used oil and filter collection sites, but all of your boating chems can be brought to this household hazardous waste collection event. So that's why I wanted to get closer to the voters and let them know, and residents as well. So if there's any questions, I can leave information, but July 29th, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., household hazardous waste collection event, voters are welcome. Fiberglass chems, whatever you have, any maintenance.
I had a question about flares. Flares have been disposable through the hazardous waste program. However, anything aerial had to be dropped off at the sheriff's department bomb squad. I don't know if you're aware of that, and
Very much for decades and decades. This is, I was in San Francisco, now I'm here in San Mateo County. Cal Recycle, little by little, is granting communities funds to collect from the public. I think several years ago, about 5 years ago, we had a collection event. It's so expensive that cities and counties aren't necessarily doing this. We can't accept them at the facility on Tower Road because of the risk to residents. And this is a very contentious issue, which household hazardous waste programs and Cal Recycle are working very hard on. But recently, in the past about 4 to 5 years, we've had these kind of episodic collection events, which is not sufficient. I understand, but Coast Guard requires that you replace them every 3 years. What do you do with them? You can call the sheriff. That's what we've been told. But I called the sheriff and they say, well, call PD because PD will decide what to do.
so I went through the process with this, and the handhelds, we were able to take to your facility, and it was only the aerials that had to go to the bomb squad.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Every jurisdiction is concerned about this. It's, well, that, serves voters and residents along the coast. So it's, but this is not an event where they're collecting flares. And when we have a flare collection event, we'll let everyone know.
I have a comment as well. Saturdays, people in Montero, Moss Beach and El Granada stay home. The traffic is horrendous. The pollution that this is creating is bad news for the air and for the folks who live here. I suggest you work with Granada Community Services District and Montero Water and Sanitary District. We each work with Recology, and we have quarterly collection days. One is, I think they're both at the schools, one at El Granada School and the other's at Fairlawn View. Maybe you could work with those two
We have
districts.
to permit that site because household hazardous waste isn't something you can just bring, like your used oil, your fluorescents, your batteries. It's
Perhaps you can work with the Harbor District to get a space so that we can do it here.
I'm very much an
Because
advocate for increasing the number of sites. I have to run up against the household hazardous waste program. So I will take this into consideration and I'll bring it back to the team. And I understand that going to Pacifica or Half Moon Bay once a year is not convenient.
not even remotely.
I'll bring that to the HHW program.
Pacifica, frankly, even for the folks from El Granada, they're starting to grocery shop in Pacifica because of the traffic.
In Pacifica too, I live in the back of the valley. It's,
I understand. I have a building in Pacifica and I live in Montero, but it's not as bad.
I come down the coast all the time. I get it.
So I just suggest that if you want better reception, that you find a way to spread it out. I'm sure talking to each of the districts in charge of the waste collection, and they will be happy to work with you.
Yeah, if we can permit a site that can accept,
Right.
that's large enough and not putting anyone at risk.
Exactly.
Representative Zemke, may I say something? If you just get your information to Melanie.
I sent you an email last
Oh,
week.
great.
Yeah.
Get it out.
Thank you for making the exception and backing up and allowing me to just make a statement. Thank you so much.
Comment. Do we have any other public comments? Okay, I will open it to commissioner comments on the activities reports. Yes, Commissioner Chancarelli.
Yes, so the general manager has put in here under his number 12 that he attended the DBW tour of the launch ramp project, which was, I want to thank him, Jim, John, Carrie for all of the work that they did. Catherine was there too. I thought it was a huge success, and it just built a very positive relationship. Carrie we went on the tour on the boat too. I think you were there too.
Yes, I was
So
there.
so I just thought it was such a great meeting that they actually set up, right? And that's why the three of us were able to go there. And I just thought that the staff did a fantastic job in hosting their requests this meeting. I hopefully lead to a positive result of this grant.
Any other commissioner comments on the activities report? Okay, seeing none.
Mrs. Zemke, if I can do a follow-on, concur 100% with Commissioner Ching Corrali. The DBW is calling a special meeting on the 23rd of this month to consider a grant application of the Harbor District. So we're looking forward to DBW considering that grant application and hopefully approving that on the 23rd. And that's for the launch ramp, rebuild, restroom, and boat washing station.
So they would have had the opportunity to approve that,
They had a quorum.
but they didn't have a quorum when they were
Correct.
meeting
Yeah,
here.
that's right.
But to assist us in getting the project moving forward, they're calling a special meeting for us. So
Good.
greatly appreciated.
Is there anything you need us to do to support our request?
I think everything's ready to go and the staff report's positive. So
Perfect.
I think I have every belief that it'll pass.
That's for design engineering.
Yeah.
And however, it is, if they approve a design engineering, that they later will approve grant.
We're counting on that.
Okay, Commissioner Demart.
Just a quick question for operations. I saw a letter back in early part of this calendar year where the Corps was planning to do the federal portion of their dredging for Oyster Point. Has that happened, or is it going to happen, or do we have a schedule from them yet?
No schedule at all for dredging of, talking about.
Yeah.
There, no, not heard anything further.
Okay. So that's one where the federal government is required to do dredge material management plans for all of there may be one for Oyster Point, at least for the federal dredging, that may be a start to take a look at for developing, what we were talking about earlier. Okay.
At
Oyster Point, yeah.
At Oyster Point, Weta does dredge our whole entrance for us. With our design engineering that's currently taking place for replacements of docks 12, 13, and 14. We are already permitted or getting permitted, finalizing permits to dredge all of that as we move forward with docks 12, 13, 14.
Okay. We will now move along to the consent calendar. Are there any items that commissioners would wish to pull from that? I think I would like to pull item number 4 from the consent calendar.
President Zemke, I would like to highlight for the county assessor for the elections. It came in at about half of what we expected. So we were able to return over $200,000 back into our budget because it came in significantly less than what we thought. So I was.
6 minus 4.
So I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. We approve 126 less number 4. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Mateusz?
Aye.
Commissioner Chang Perrelli?
Aye.
Mr. Slater Carter?
Yes.
Commissioner Donrad?
Aye.
President Zemke?
Aye. Okay, we will move along then to discussion items in F. Item number 1, F. Which is Jim, yours.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Myself and Chris Rocher have been meeting and negotiating with the Teamsters Union 856 to renew their MOU, which expires in June of this year. We were able to successfully negotiate with them for another 5-year term, and the negotiations are within the parameters that the board gave me to negotiate with. I think it's very good for us, and it's very good for the members and the district all the same. And I recommend the board approve the MOU as drafted, with the exception of one statement that says calculation of that was an error. It should have been that line that we talked about.
Okay, is that it? The report? Okay. Do we have any public comments on item number F1? I want to hear in a minute. Oh, Melanie, are there any hands? That's all right. Are there any hands raised for public comment on item number F1? Okay, very good. I will then open it for commissioner comments on item number 1.
Motion to approve and authorize the general manager to sign the MOU between the San Mateo County Harbor District and Teamsters 856, effective July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2028, less the correction mentioned by the general manager.
I'll second. Well, Virginia got it. She's quick. I want to make a comment, and that is to thank staff and Christopher Boucher, who worked on this so diligently and kept Virginia and I in the loop so that we could make comments along the way. I think it's a good
And before we vote too, I would like to compliment staff, particularly Jim, for his role in negotiating the contract and help from Commissioner Correll and Commissioner Slater Carter. So can we have a roll call, please?
Aye.
Mr. Slater Carter,
yes.
Mr. Donrow,
Yes.
President Zemke,
Yes.
Mr. Matoush.
Aye.
Okay, very good. That passes. Moving on now to item F number 2. Approve rates and fees effective July 1st. Julie, this is yours.
Item was discussed at our last meeting. Added as attachments is the fee schedule that has been in 26%, which is the annual. At the time, on March 17th, the Harbor Commission asked staff to prepare some information. For some different scenarios, include not increase the slip fee by 5.6%, which keep the fee. The event that the board does. Staff would recommend, instead of having 2 different rates and a rate schedule, one. That instead you would increase the commercial fishing discount, which is increased 20%. the fees by 5.6 instead of the 15%, the district would forego approximately $1,000. 26 off boat sales permit caps. When they don't have any sales, they don't give. $536, which would be January of 2024.
Do we have any public comments on the rates and fees? Oh, we do have one, yes. Doug?
Yes, hi, Commission. My name is Doug Laughlin. Some of you may know me. I'm part of the Coastside Fishing Club on the board of directors and involved in the salmon project here. But I actually come here as a birther in opposition to rate increases. Everything costs more, services become less, and I'm generally against the increases. But more important than that, I'm against a discounted version of the berth rental fees to the commercial fishing fleet, or the, I'm not quite sure, and I'm here to maybe to be educated on who exactly you want to offer this discount system to. As you may know, they don't have the ability to fish for salmon just like the rest of us. Recreational fishermen don't have a chance to fish for salmon. Rock fishing, we have to go 20 miles out. It's hard to find a crew that'll help pay for fuel, gas to go out fishing. So we are suffering. The recreational sport fishing, regular Joe Blow berth renter is suffering as well. And if you're going to give a discount to commercial fishermen, you need to know that any currently permitted salmon fisherman with landings last year has put in for federal disaster relief funds and has been promised by pretty much all the Northern California congressional delegations, they will receive emergency bailout funds. They may not get it right away, but they will get it. So think twice about a two-part payment system that is totally biased and discriminatory towards the rest of us birthers. And if you're looking at trying to save, what the Harbor Commission might not make if you give this discount, that should be put back in the formula and reduce the 5.6% all the way around to everybody. It's the only fair way to do this. And if I'm wrong in any of this, please educate me. But it really smacks of discrimination to the rest of us birthers. Last time, well, I'm not sure if it was last time, but when commercial fishermen received disaster relief money, I believe it was from the Costco Busan oil spill when the tanker hit the Bay Bridge. When the commercial fishermen got their relief funds, Johnson Pier was full of brand new four-wheel drive trucks, okay? So, you look at that and, I'm intimately aware of the commercial loss, the recreational loss. As Tom knows, I represent the Coastside Fishing Club in the Pacific Fisheries Management Council salmon negotiations and setting of seasons. It was a very, very tough decision to make. But we stood firm with the commercial fishermen, knowing that to fish for salmon was going to be crazy. To fish for the last, few salmon, we need enough to go back up the rivers. We need enough to be out in the ocean. So we stand together. And I don't want to single out and say, us regular birthers are against the commercial fishermen. But if you decide to do this, it's going to look real bad, terrible optics. And they're going to make their money back. They've already put in for their relief funds. So Do you have any other questions for me? Thank you for letting me make that statement.
Thanks for your comment. Okay, any other public comments? Chris?
Hi, thank you, Crystalline from the COSA Chamber. And I apologize, I don't have a good comment only because I couldn't hear 98% of what Julie said in her report. So I just want to let you guys know that a good chunk of what you're saying in chambers cannot be heard on Zoom because the microphone is not picking it up. So I apologize that I don't have an actual comment for this item.
We'll try to correct that.
I have a request then that we have Julie re-present so the public can hear it. This is a very important issue to a lot of people.
Okay,
And Julie's comments were not long.
Right.
They were very clear, and I think transparency is critical.
okay.
Through the chair, it would help if all the board members also use their big room voice, because some of us are more quiet than others. I'm not on that particular group. But if everybody would just use their big room voice.
Are you talking about me?
No, he's talking about me.
Oh, okay.
No, he's not talking about it.
Is there a way to move the microphone closer to?
I just have to face this way.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you could do that, please. Thanks, Julie.
On March 17th, the Harbor Commission requested, or May 17th, the Harbor Commission requested that staff prepare some information related to providing an additional discount to commercial fishermen in support of the elimination of the commercial fishing season. And the commercial fishermen pay approximately $280,000 in berth rental fees per year. If the district does not increase the slip fee by 5.6, which is presented in the attachments, the district would forego approximately $16,000. In the event that the board does approve that staff would recommend that instead of having two different fee schedules, that the commercial fisherman discount be increased from 15% to 20%. If the district increases the slip fees by 5.6% and provides a 50% discount instead of the current 15% discount, the district would forego approximately $122,000. There are approximately 26 off the boat sales permit holders and 7 sport fishing caps. If we don't increase the permit fees for that group of people, in January of 2024, the district would forego approximately $536. Thank
Julie? Okay, I will open it up now to commissioner comments.
Just like to clarify, if we adopt 2309, it's just the 5.6%, and then the commercial stays at the 15%. There's nothing else.
That's right.
I have a comment.
Commissioner Chancarelli.
So as I was reading this, I kind of came to a similar conclusion as the gentleman who just spoke. Just because of where we are from an economic standpoint, and actually going to the commercial discount and all of that, I thought that we were going to look at different options, not just with discounting, but also deferred payments as well on across the board for commercial fishing, because there were fishermen or the fishing industry, the fishing group, I think they feel like they're suffering through no salmon season and very limited crab season. And so, I mean, I think Bill and I were kind of looking at possible ways to make it easier for them financially. But I agree that you can't differentiate. I'm looking at the birthing monthly rates here. And I don't know. I just, is there another way to look at this? Instead of just all of a sudden raising fees across the board. I mean, there's things that I agree with some of the increases in the rates, like, I don't know, I think I have the ones that circled that I don't agree with, but like fax cost or credit check, that, you know, tenant screening, that kind of thing. You know, the passenger service fee situation has been discussed before. I'd love to hear what Commissioner Matoush has to say about that, since that's being proposed to be increased by 15 cents, which doesn't seem like a lot, but you know, I don't know what how the businesses are doing in that area right now, but it just seems like they haven't been doing great, but I don't know. And Tom, do you have any kind of insight as to how that area is doing?
A lot of the charter boats and both on the bay and the ocean and whatnot have raised their fees significantly because of the cost of fuel and distance and travels. So I don't see that it's going to impact a small percentage like this. In addition, I was glad to hear the clarification. So I would move to adopt Resolution 2309 to increase the district fees, rates and fees by 5.6% effective July 1st of 2023. And particularly the way we've done this in the past.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any further discussion on that motion?
I would hope that we can look at this discrepancy between the birthing and the commercial fishing thing and get all of the options and not just the 15% discount, but deferred payments and things like that as well.
So should that be a future agenda item?
Well, I mean, this is done. There's no reason to discuss it. I mean, I would just like, this was supposed to be a draft that was going to be brought back to us to look at different options, but I'm not sure all of the options are addressed in this report. And so maybe we should have that discussion and make this, put this on a future agenda item.
In that case, I'll withdraw my second. I would like to see this discrepancy sorted out.
Can I ask, what's the, these would be rates that would start in January of next year or January of next year?
July 1st.
July 1st,
July
it's
1st.
like in 3 weeks.
So you guys are impacting the budget.
So,
No, the budget is,
well, yeah, but we can't charge, I mean, the budget's based on increase in fees, I believe. Yeah.
I'm just looking at these two things, some of the other things, I mean, I'm okay with. It's just this issue that was brought up in it, and that was what I had flagged also.
Or is there a way to single out the birthing fees?
For the discrepancies,
I'm sorry, can you describe what discrepancies?
well, I mean, so if you look at the commercial discount, we're giving them a discount, but then we're increasing birthing monthly rates by, but I mean, it doesn't seem like a significant amount, but I think it is, right?
We're increasing the birthing discount to match 15% of the new
For
rate. So.
But that's
the
for commercial
discount
only.
increases Also, and that's what we've done historically, is only give a discount to commercial.
I don't know. I mean, there are other issues that the commercial fishing industry has brought up, and I would rather have that discussion before we approve this, but I understand the impact on the budget thing. I do. I mean, if we took out this part of this fee schedule, rates and fee schedule, how much would it impact the budget without this? And we wait and discuss this these sections more next month.
Well, the total increase,
Yeah,
$1,000, the majority of that is for the, If I had to-
80%.
I would say.
Oh, Commissioner Demmer.
Are there any grants available to the harbor that can offset this?
I don't, that's the thing. I don't know.
Capital or anybody that, I'm sorry?
I don't know what has been explored. I mean, it's
That-
just
that's
easy
the
to just
question.
increase these fees. and-
So maybe we don't increase the fees, but to match what we need for the budget, we would have to get some grant from somewhere to make up that difference for a year or something.
Or increase the fee a little bit today and then look at the balance. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
You know what I'm getting at.
yeah,
from
but I
the-
mean, the point is, I'm not sure we were presented with all the options. That's,
I understand. I think I'm feeling that way too, that maybe there's some additional options that we ought to possibly pursue. Do we have the time to do that before, I guess, the fiscal year starts? I don't think so.
No.
No.
I know where
It's just
Tom's
a
coming
way.
from. Like,
Yeah.
just-
Well, this is a public process and it was started, we had our review and this was the date of the adoption. There was plenty of time to look at this before if there were any concerns. Therefore, I'd request my fellow commissioners to approve the budget. And
We approved the
my
budget.
motion still stands. And do we have a second?
Jim, can I ask a question? How many recreational boaters do we have as compared to the commercial fleet? Or is there a way?
Recreational boaters are growing in relation to the commercial fleet. What is it?
There's about 35
35
35?
commercial fishermen.
out of 400?
So I just want to say that I totally understand where Commissioner Mateusz is coming from. I thought we were going to have more options here. That's all. That's what I thought the direction was from the last meeting. Maybe I misunderstood.
And I apologize if direction on that.
I mean, maybe it wasn't clear. but
Big voice.
Maybe it wasn't as clear. But I thought that that was what we were going to look at. We were going to have this as a draft and then look at different options, but anyway, that's where I am. Now, if we were to even increase this by half of what is proposed here, what would that number be? Like
$82,000 would be the differential.
well, that's not with the 15% discount though, right?
Yeah,
And we were to cut that, just, I don't know. Or not give it, I don't know. I mean,
Chair, an option could be to table this 5.6. And approve the budget without the 5.6 increase. We'll have to remove that 120,000, 160,000 from the budget, approve the budget without it. And then we'll come to the finance committee with options and get further directions from the finance committee before we bring it back to the board for consideration. And then at times the board wants to increase rates, they can increase rates at that point, and then there'd be extra money on the budget that we have in the future. But if that's the right direction we want to go, but it does deflate our budget by 160.
164, is that the?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is not a tremendous amount of money when you're looking at the budget. CIP program.
Can we table this and bring it back at our next meeting then for approval?
Would we
So
have
that-
to advertise it again?
How much of a posting does it take? How long?
Melanie was at 20 days.
60-day delay.
Yeah, yeah.
Not a huge.
I mean, we don't have to approve 100% of the birthing fees. And maybe we cut the 164 in half. That would give us something temporarily. It's better than nothing.
I think for consistency
give
for
us-
the poor folks who are paying the bills, it's better not to lump things around. So you're talking about just cutting it in half to 80 and then waiting a year before we re-increase it?
I mean, it would be 82,000, right? That's only for, that doesn't, where does the 15% come in then? Because that's not the, I mean, that's the differential, which I understand.
Right, so for example, with 44 for a 30.
The discount
300.
only applies-
Right, exactly, yes. So the discount goes up.
Right, I understand. Right.
Right, yes. So instead of increasing rates 5.6%, we would increase them by half of that. 2.8%.
I think that makes sense.
I mean, if we took a look at this whole thing and if, I mean, if we did it by half and then we looked at this again, we could add it in if we wanted to, right? But at least we're not starting with zero. It'd be 82,000 instead of 164.
Yes, that's correct. You could do that.
I mean, how do you feel? I know that you probably are.
I'm ready to pass it just like it is now. I think that a member of the public brought up a good thing about all the applications for financial disaster, and people are going to do quite well, and it's not a serious thing.
The recreational, is it only the commercial fleet that would be seeking that disaster
Correct.
relief?
Yes.
Federal disaster money, correct? Is there a state fund that can go to others other than the commercial?
Not that I've ever heard of.
Okay.
Like I say, I'm ready to go for the whole thing, but if you want to have half in a discussion, it's already been brought up to impact our capital improvement funds and projects. But it'd be nice to just move this down for the administration to make a decision, see the board make a decision and implement something.
Would it make sense to approve half of the 5.6 now and then at mid-year?
That's what I was saying. Look at
Give us time to look at it and then at mid-year consider
an
the other,
adjustment.
an adjustment to that.
That's what I would propose.
Maybe make some sense.
Tom, if you'd like to amend your motion, I'll second that.
Yeah.
I don't know if he wants to.
Well, I guess if we want to make a formal motion that we approve a rate effective for July 1st of half of
2023.
the 5.6,
2.8.
2.8,
2.8.
which would be an increase of $82,000 in the budget.
Right, and then
for the-
refer the issue for review of the other half of
To the
that to the
finance
finance
committee.
committee. possibly increasing that mid-year.
So actually, it's more complicated than that because this 5.6, it doesn't say slip fees only. We've got a number of other small issues. So I think you have to structure the motion in such a way that you've got the slips on one side and all the other fees to be approved as per what's in our rates and fee schedule.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess the slip fees are the biggest piece of the
Earning rates too.
Yeah, but we do have to be.
I wouldn't be able to calculate the exact impact on the budget
Right.
for the next item, but we can estimate and just come up with a number that it would be 82,000, even though we're.
And then look at the 5.6 independent of this, since Tom brought up the potential complications.
Well, yeah, so some of the fees, they start in January,
Right.
like all the permit
And it's
fees.
staggered.
Increases. So if we think that that's what we want to do, we should bring it back maybe in October for a January 1st implementation of it. It does require notification of rate increases to various users at the harbors. But it's doable.
So then would the motion be just to increase the operating revenues by 82,000 for fiscal year 2023 and 24, and then we'll have the finance committee look at the rest of this as a whole?
So when we start talking about the budget, we can just say decrease it by 82,000.
Okay. So you're saying
Even
do
though
it
it's
as,
not, it just with understanding that it's going to be off a little bit, but it's just an estimate anyway, so it'll be fine.
so I'm not sure then, okay, are you saying approve all of this and then you'll adjust the budget down by 82, or approve this to 82, the 164 to 82? That's a
I'm
different-
saying that the 164 includes all the slip fees and all the rest of the fees, and I'm estimating that slip fees would be 150,000.
Okay.
So if you're taking out only a half of the
100,000.
150, then it would probably decrease around 75, but 82 to be safe, I guess. Yeah.
Has a motion. Do we want to amend it, or what do you?
Okay, it's going to be a complicated amendment, but we'll say change resolution 23-09 to increase the district's rates and fees for slip rents by 2.8% and all other fees proposed in the district rates and fees schedule effective July 1st, 2023 to stand.
I'll second that.
Perfect.
Okay, I think people are now hopefully
Feeling
not
better about
confused.
it?
So just to clarify for the records, what I'm hearing is that the motion would be to increase the slip fees by
2.8%, and for all other rates and fees to be increased by 5.6%,
Whatever's in the schedule,
or what's in the schedule, which is remaining the same
meaning as proposed.
as proposed. Okay.
And the 5.6 would be down to 2.8, which is
Slip rents.
the slip fees.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's so the slip fees would only be increased by 2.8% instead of the whole percentage increase, which is what the staff is recommending, right?
Okay, so the motion is to increase the slip rent by 2.8% and all other fees as proposed.
Correct.
Okay.
So that
Okay.
was amended by Commissioner Mathush and seconded by Commissioner Slater Carter.
Keeps track of that. Okay.
Sorry, Mel,
Okay.
I'm looking at
All
the
right.
wrong person. Sorry.
Any further discussion?
And then I guess just really quickly, with the understanding that this is the other part of the proposal will go back to the finance
Finance committee,
committee
yeah.
for discussion, and whatever comes back to the board, we'll look at that again probably in a few months. Is that
Mhm.
correct? Like in the October timeframe, the last quarter of the year, before we have to implement next calendar year, right? Okay.
Okay. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Damrock.
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. McHugh.
Aye.
Mr. Shane Crawley.
Aye.
Mr. Slater Clark.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
that passed. We can move along to item number F3. Final budget fiscal year 2023-24 operating budget and 5-year capital improvement plan, adoption of resolution number 23-09. Julie, this is yours as well.
This is a public hearing for the final operating budget and 5-year capital improvement program. It's an opportunity for the public to weigh in on the adoption of this budget. The recommended motion would be to adopt resolution number 23-09, approving the fiscal year 2023-24 operating budget and 5-year capital improvement program, less $82,000 of operating revenues, which will be adjusted. The district's annual budget is the main fiscal planning tool used throughout the year. The proposed final budget includes the estimate of a little over $14 million in revenues and $10.789 million in operating expenditures, which equals $3.94 million less the $82,000. The 5-year capital improvement program includes fiscal year capital expenditures of $11.6 million, offset by a $800,000 grant revenue. And there is sufficient cash fund balances to fund the 23-24 fiscal year capital expenditures and to fund the required reserves of $2,697,000. The estimated working capital balance at the end of this fiscal year is $17.8 million. And I presented this now 2 times, so I'm just going to go through what the differences are between what I presented in April and in March and what is part of the final budget. Operating revenues were projected to be slightly above the preliminary budget. That might not be the case anymore, but we were forecasting a 4.9% increase in the preliminary budget, and this budget has 5.6 increase. I think there might be a little bit of a decrease with the $82,000 now. The non-operating revenues and all the expenditures stayed the same as the preliminary budget. The biggest difference was that we postponed the Surfers Beach Restoration Eelgrass project for the East Outer Harbor. And that moved approximately $4.7 million from this year's projected expenditures to next fiscal year. And then the other thing is we added $2.7 million for funding of electrical upgrades and beam piling replacement at Pillar Point Harbor. So those are the differences between what was presented previously. But if you have any questions in the document, I'd be happy to answer those.
Okay. Thank you. Do we have any public comments Any hands raised? Okay, new public comments or hands raised. Open it up for commissioner comments.
The final operating budget and 5-year capital improvement program, resolution number 23-09, with changes as required in our previous agenda.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
President Zupke,
Aye.
Commissioner Mathush.
Aye.
Commissioner Chang-Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Slater Carter,
Yes.
Elmer.
Yes.
Okay.
President Zemke, before public comment.
I don't believe I
Did we
heard
take it?
public comment.
Yeah, he did.
We did public.
He did.
Yeah, Melanie said there weren't any.
Yeah, there were no hands raised.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay, at this point, we're going to go into closed session for a period of time. And we'll be back then to continue discussion.
Public comment before we go into closed
Okay, are
session.
there any public comment or hands raised on closed session items?
No hands raised.
Okay,
Wait a minute.
we find one?
Crystal.
Okay, Crystal.
Crystalline
Crystal.
from the chamber?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, thank you so much, Crystalline from the chamber. I just wanted to show or voice support for this negotiation, and I have full trust that the harbor wants what's obviously best for that area, and I fully believe that the applicant is a wonderful person who has wonderful collaborative thoughts and ideas for this piece of the harbor, and just really excited and hope that this works out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other public comments on the closed session item?
Hands raised.
Okay, I guess we will go into closed session for time. Call us back into order after our closed session. We are going to discuss item number H1 on the agenda. And Jim, did you want to state anything about, make any comments?
These H1, H2, and H3 are the recommendations to approve the request of Joanne Franklin or in Albert Dunn to assign those leases to a Pelagic Restaurant Group Incorporated. The agenda says Edward Wilkinson, who is a partial owner of Pelagic Group Incorporated, but as the time of the publishing of this agenda, the corporation had not been formed. It has been formed now. So the staff report and any motion should reference Pelagic Restaurant Group Incorporated, not Edward Wilkinson.
Okay. All right, and as a result of our closed session, this a motion will be to recommend approval of the assignment by and adding a consent to that assignment, being the assignee represents and warrants that within 6 months of the acceptance of the assignment, Pelagic will renegotiate in good faith new master lease for all 3 properties as defined in the leases for a period of 5 years. And can I make that motion?
There's 2 corporations. There is Catch Joanne Restaurant and Harbor Bar Incorporated, which is the owner of the lease for Catch Joanne Restaurant and Harbor Bar and Catch Cafe. And then Order at the Corner Incorporated owns the lease to Order at the Corner right now.
But we're only on H1. We're only
H1.
on H1.
So we're probably going to take all three.
Take all three.
Take all three.
Okay,
Can we do all three at once, or do you want to do them separately? Is
You
it,
can do all three if they're all identical.
they are, I
no,
think,
they're
all
identical
identical.
as to the end result, but they're not identical as to parties. Do all
Okay,
three.
we'll do them separately. Okay, we'll deal with just item number H1 then at this point. And based on that motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, do we
Wait a second.
have any public comment? Yeah, do we have any public comment on that motion? Okay, do we have any further discussion on the, from the commission on that motion? Hearing none, we can take a vote. Roll call, please.
President Zupke,
Aye.
Commissioner Touche.
Oh, I couldn't hear you. Aye.
Commissioner Chang Raleigh,
Aye.
Commissioner Slater Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Summer.
Aye.
Okay. We'll move now, we'll now move on to item number H2.
For each item.
Yeah, right. And this motion for this item will be to approve the requested assignment and adding to the consent of the assignment, assignee represents and warrants that within 6 months of the acceptance of the assignment, Pelagic will renegotiate in good faith a new master lease for all three properties as defined in the leases for a period of 5 years. Do we have any public comments on this motion, on the item? Nope, not seeing, okay. Did I get a second on that, or did I skip
I'll
that?
second that.
Oh, okay, I did not, okay. The motion is made and seconded.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion from the commission? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to a vote. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Touche,
Aye.
Commissioner Chang Raleigh,
Aye.
Commissioner Slater Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Donald,
Aye.
President Zupke.
Aye. Okay, we will now move to item number H3. The approval of the assignment to, this is to order agreement of order to the catch the order at the corner, sorry for my history, order at the corner of BC. The motion will be to approve the assignment with the addition of assignee represents and warrants that within 6 months of this acceptance of the assignment, Pelagic will renegotiate in good faith a new lease, master lease for all three properties as defined in the leases for a period of 5 years. Do we have a second on that?
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any public comments? Nope, I'm not seeing no public comments. Any further discussion from the commission? Okay. We will then move to a vote. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Chang Raleigh,
Aye.
Commissioner Slater Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Donald,
Yes.
President Zupke,
Yes.
Commissioner Touche.
Aye.
Pull from the consent calendar, item number 4, and I pulled that because at least when I read it, it sounded like we could either decide not to vote, or we could vote for 3 or 4 candidates. And I just wanted to bring it to the attention of the board. Do we want to not vote on the District Risk Management Authority Board of Directors? Or do we want to just take a pass? There were four candidates. 3 of them were incumbents.
Incumbents and one not.
I actually know the non-incumbents.
So, and I have to admit, I know nothing.
Abstain.
I know nothing
If we vote.
personally. So what's the,
I don't know. I mean, there are 3 spots to fill,
there's three
right?
spots to fill.
I mean, I would vote for one of the non-incumbents, but I don't know the other to who I would vote for. So we can pass as far as I'm
Let's just
concerned.
vote for one.
I thought the one sounded like you had a lot of experience.
Which one were you looking at?
Look at
So
this couple days
the
ago.
non-incumbent is Aquanetta Warren, who is a former mayor of Fontana. I think it's Fontana. And I don't know if she's still on that council. I think she may be. I haven't seen her in a long time. And I think she would be good, but I don't really have a position on the others.
I would support Bob Swan based on his resume.
I saw that one too. I liked him too.
I vote for Bob Swan based on Tom's recommendation. I don't vote based on gender.
No. I know her. I know how she operates. And I think she would be
All right,
make a
let's
good.
vote for both of them.
We can vote for 3.
We can vote for 3, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Vote for 2.
So the motion is that we vote for Bob Swan and what was the other one?
Aquanetta Warren.
Aquanetta Warren.
I'll second that.
Okay, any other further discussion? Any public comment on that?
No public comment.
Okay. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Slender Carter. All right.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, and I don't necessarily recall what was the voting mechanism, or do you remember, Julie,
I think there's a ballot that we just have to send back.
a ballot send back?
Right, so Melanie will fill this out and have
We need
the
Show.
secretary sign.
I think
It's on the attachment.
Oh.
It's a official 2023 ballot and it has a place to put adopted on this day. Everyone that was here voted 5-0 for those 2
Mhm.
candidates. And then it just has to be attested by Melanie and signed by President Zupke, I guess.
Right. And how, does it say when that's to be submitted?
It has to be submitted by August 8th.
Oh, okay, that gives us plenty of time. Okay. All right. Very good. We'll put that in Melanie's hands to get that filled out and I will sign it when it's ready. Okay, I guess that moves us to future agenda items. And I do remember we had some discussion about possible future agenda items
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah, one of the items would be to start the discussions on developing a request for proposal for a master plan and or a dredge material management plan. Maybe they're combined. We could talk about those
We
with
have a master plan, but I'm talking about a
It needs-
public works plan.
a public works plan. Okay, so we start that discussion of a public works plan that would include in it a dredge material management plan and whatever other kinds of public works things we need.
President Zemke, if I can make a recommendation.
Yes, please.
There's a lot of discussion on this and we have a subcommittee that can address it. So I recommend that that you get returned to the subcommittee to bring a committee report at a future date.
Very good. I assume that's okay with the subcommittee.
Yes.
Okay, good. Good, I think
Right?
that's a
It's
good way,
okay.
a good way to,
We'll set up a subcommittee meeting.
Can we clarify who's on the subcommittee? I thought it was George and Tom. Can we clarify who's on the subcommittee?
I think it's
I thought it was Tom
it's
and
Tom and George.
Yeah.
We're the sediment group. Is there a different
Yeah,
group for public works or?
We've been talking about public works, Virginia.
Yeah. So it's kind
But
of,
again, the sediment
It's-
group can discuss it and
it's-
Catherine can.
I'll be happy to contribute as.
Well, no, you can contribute it.
Requested.
You can contribute to that discussion at the board meeting
Yeah.
when it gets onto the agenda here.
Yes.
Or I can
Okay.
send documents that the subcommittee. can
No, because it's a Brown Act.
Yeah.
It's a Brown.
I'm not-
Right.
This is ad hoc.
Even sending
Ad hoc
information is a Brown Act violation?
It's not a standing.
As long as they don't respond to you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
We just can't
Yeah,
talk.
I would simply go to coastal and get the information.
Okay.
Okay.
For any other items for us to consider?
nope, I'll move to adjourn.
Seeing none, have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes.
President Zepke,
Yes.
Commissioner Tush,
Hi.
Commissioner Chinkamali,
Aye.
Commissioner Slater.
No, I think we should hang around for a while.
Okay, we adjourn.
Yep, it is.